So before I pause it, we were talking about album sales and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's the same,
So,
vinyl. Oh yeah, you were gonna say something about vinyl.
well, it's just such a tough market today to be in a band. You make all your money being on the road, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you don't make it from
No,
albums.
no. Yeah.
And so
that's like, that's like you could buy a burrito,
Yeah. So wow. I mean, you're getting ready to do a new album, right, for the Bronx.
Yeah. But
I almost want to say why bother, but
there's always
want to create new songs.
Every time we do an album, I always go, I wonder if this is the last time, we get to experience the whole album process, because we, the guys write, we all write demos. First it starts off with someone's idea.
Okay.
It's a demo, then we send it to each other. Matt sings on it comes back, and everyone kind of knows, learns, adds to the song, and then we'll get together, and then we'll jam it out, and then go back, do more,
And you're all in different states while this is happening.
And then
so it's all through files.
And then
Zoom?
and then we'll get together a couple times to do that, and then we'll do a pre-production. We'll choose a producer, and then the studio. But that, we actually go to a real studio, like I always wonder, oh man, I wonder if this is the last time we do this,
Well, so you're relishing in it though. So I better remember
like
this.
when we did the last Bronx album, the last two Bronx albums, I really had a good time recording Bronx 5 and 6. It was like, we did that, the whole process like we said, but then the two producers we worked with, I really like working with those two producers. So it was super fun doing that.
Yeah, they sound.
Solid. But then it's like, oh man, I wonder if this is the last time. You go, because you never know. Those guys might not have a studio in 3 years. They might not. The guys we worked with will, but there's people might be like, shit, I'm just gonna do it with a laptop.
Yeah, well, there's like the Hatchet Brothers, Gregory Page and Frank Drennan, they recorded a perfect sounding album, like I think in a closet in their house.
Well, some of
and that was 15 years ago.
Some of our demos, it sounds rad. Because it sounds raw, and it's still like we don't know the songs that well, but we it sounds really good.
Do you think you'll ever release those?
Yeah, we have. There's two albums.
Yes.
Two double albums with all
I was going to say
B-sides, demos, and covers.
Is that what those are?
Yeah. But there's more raw demos than that.
Oh, wow.
Those are like kind of like the good demos. There's like the demos that aren't even up to that. But we do have a lot of songs we haven't recorded, or it was just demos or just ideas. But yeah, so. Yeah, so I kind of, like you said, I've kind of been enjoying like the process of like, oh man, this might be, because like back in the day, 70s, you're like, you go to the studio, you spend 3 months in the studio. You don't do that anymore.
No.
But yeah.
So if you need an idea for a album title, could you call it 7?
Bronx doesn't do album titles.
Yeah, 7. Call it VII.
Well, next one is 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. You're taking my idea.
The next Bronx is 7, and next mariachi is 4.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So
that's kind of.
It's kind of.
Why do you do that?
Because one is like
you don't have to think about it.
Exactly. That's another. Someone has to come up with a title. Someone it's going to be a discussion. But Bronx kind of started out as kind of Joby's brainchild, and he's a graphic designer. He worked at like Vagrant, and he's done shitloads of album covers that you probably know that,
What are some?
He's done like Dashboard Confessional, Rock on Crib. He's done a lot of stuff. He does artwork he does shit for Kiss,
Oh, wow.
But it was kind of his brainchild, where it was like the songs and like the artwork kind of went, it was like 2 in 1. So we're like, all right, the Bronx albums don't have a title, but they have a distinct artwork for it. Like the first one, everyone says it's the Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Second one is a Swami blowing up the world. Third one, flamingos. 4 is the tiger. 5 is I don't even remember the 5th album cover, but 5 is 5. 6 is the orange dripping logo. You know, everyone kind of, you know, it's like a color. And
that's cool.
So that's kind of.
I like that. Yeah,
that's kind of the mindset. You know, mariachi. The first mariachi is the crab, and the second mariachi is the hip hop guy. You know. So.
Do you when doing a new album, do you ever? I mean, a lot of bands hit perfection. Like AC/DC, Slayer, Motorhead, they hit perfection. They don't need to change their sound or do anything. Do you ever feel there needs to be a change in the sound for the Bronx, or does the mariachi covers that?
Well, you know, you'd think since we have another mariachi, another outlet of a band that's so different but Bronx is every album kind of, you know, Bronx has the fast songs with the stop and goes. We have kind of the rock and roll swagger song. We have kind of not a stoner, like a, you know, slower song. We have like a kind of a metallic song. We have, we have all different, every album, you know, alternative, you know, 90s alternative type, you know. If you listen to the whole Bronx catalog, it's pretty crazy how much we come up with different, you know.
So there's no need to jazz or something or a ballad.
You know, sometimes, you know, it's cool when like Motorhead and Ramones, they're pretty much, Ramones kind of changed, but, you know, kind of the same all the way through. But I think Bronx isn't that type of band. I think Bronx has a distinct sound, distinct voice with, you know, a little bit of a change up, you know, in the songs.
So before you go into the studio, I'm assuming you somehow get together and rehearse the songs together live?
Yeah.
Is it together in a room or is it on Zoom? Or
together in a room. So we do from everyone sending the files to each other, and it gets to a point, and if there's a time we could get together, we, you know, spend like a week in the studio just, you know, kind of playing the songs, you know, because it's hard to go but sometimes there's probably a couple songs in there that we've never even played together, you know, we just kind of thought of it in the studio and then wrote it and recorded it, you know, without jamming, you know.
So that's like the first time you ever played the song is on the actual album.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about touring. You've played some big shows. You play a lot of festivals. I guess the festivals is where you kind of do pretty well.
Well, I mean, we do well in England. We do well in Australia, and the major cities in the U.S. Obviously, you know, just like all touring bands, you know, we do well in Scandinavia, Sweden, you know. But yeah, festivals, you know, I've never played festivals in Dragons. It was playing street fair, clubs, you know. The street scene was probably the most closest to the festival I've got. But, you know, it's like huge, you know, mariachi we're playing with fucking, you know, Glastonbury. That's like, you know.
The biggest.
That's like the biggest festival. But we've done every other year. We did Reading and Leeds. And there's so many European festivals. I don't even remember half of them, you know.
I was going to say, do you remember most shows or do they all kind of blend in together?
I wish I would have kept that like a little better of a log, you know, like a Henry Rollins journal type thing. I start, but then I was like, I'll remember this shit. And then 2 years later, I was like, I don't remember anything. But, you know, it's, you know, we did Roskilde, which is like a super famous one. With
the helicopters?
No, that was Hellfest. Hellfest is huge. Hellfest is a week long now, and it's like in France, and it's a huge ground.
Do you stay for the whole thing?
No, we're there for 2 days.
Got to get in and get out.
Yeah, but the one we played it, I think, twice, and you know, one year it was like Lords of Altamont, some other band, us, Backyard Babies, Helicopters, and Turbo Negro on the same stage.
Oh wow!
And when we played, it happened to be like when no other bands were really playing. So we had like a huge crowd, you know, it was like, one of those crowds that went all the way to the back.
So as being a fan of all those bands, do you sit there and watch them all on the side of the stage?
I watch
the whole
them,
time?
but by now, a lot of band guys are fans of Bronx too. Bronx, a lot of crew guys,
yeah, you've been
band
around
guys love the Bronx, So, we've become, pretty good friends with bands, and Helicopters remember me. Well, I've seen those,
Well, Dragons open up for them.
Yeah, so, they remember me, and, we'd hung out for all those, And then every once in a while, Backyard Babies will be on a festival here, But yeah, there's so many there's festivals we'd fly in, get in the van, get to the festival, play, get back in the van, and go somewhere else, So that's kind of hard to remember. But yeah, we played every little big ones, small ones. We played a fucking yoga festival in Northeast,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So tell me some stories about you open up for the Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters was cool.
So that
Dave Grohl's.
How many shows was that?
It was 2 legs, and I think each leg was about 2-3 weeks.
Oh wow!
Because they don't play. They were playing pretty often, but those arena bands don't play every night.
Yeah. Which is, I guess,
it's a travel.
Good in a way.
Yeah. If it works out, we'll play. Yeah, we'll play our own show if it works out. But yeah, it was like we played probably 2-3 weeks on each one. Maybe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
So Dave Grohl and all the guys are pretty cool. And
our drummer.
I don't know if you want to tell me the stories you were telling me.
No, it's fine. At the time, our drummer was friends with him, so we started out doing the secret shows. We did Troubadour and we did Velvet Jones in Santa Barbara. And then Dave was everyone was cool from the get go, and then we got on the tour, and they were all awesome. The guys, the crew was awesome.
Do they have a bar? I hear they have a bar
rock
backstage that they can just hang out at. And
it's for like family, not super close, but it's like radio station winners. Like it was.
And they all sitting there drinking before the show.
No, they go there after. It's like an after. Okay. Like people that like won something on, a radio or like, some web thing. So it's called the Rock Box at the time. I think it's different now, but you go in there, there's like food, chips, a big boom box, beers, So we'd always hang out in there,
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes the guys from Foo Fighters go in there, they would go in, hang out, The first, I remember Dave hung out. Yeah. One time we went in there and we were the only ones in there, and we had our shirt off. Well, we all had our shirts off. And then they're like, "Oh my God, you guys are fucking in here. It's your shirts off. We're listening to Helicopters because they have this big old boom box, eating Doritos, And then the people that were supposed to be in Rock Box, the guests, were like looking in, they're like, oh my God, these, so no one was coming in. And, but Dave, to make us feel comfortable or not feel bad, he came in, took his shirt off, hung out with us, had a beer, he's a cool guy like that. And then, so then there's us, a couple of the Bronx guys, Dave, and then there's this one kid that I was just like, oh yeah, this guy must work here, or he must just been a radio station winner. So whatever. Well, I didn't even really pay attention. He was just hanging out, took his shirt off, right? And then he was like, hey man, I like both of your bands, but your security sucks. And he slams down CD. And he goes, this is my band, listen to it. He goes, your security sucks because I got in here all the way. He didn't pay, didn't have a ticket, didn't work for anyone. He just came to the show.
I thought he was good.
He just came to the show, watched us, and after the show, he went into the Rock Box, the beer room, party room, and just hung out. And he didn't say anything.
Wow.
But this takes another twist. So that was that. This was 2011 or whatever, right? So then last year, 2023, we're on a European tour, Bronx European tour, and we play. I can't remember. It was Austria. So we play Austria, and it was opening up for Rancid. So we're on our days off. We're playing like super small clubs, and the place we played in Austria was super small. It was like people on top of each other, you know. And then it was like playing like grannies, you know. And
wow,
smaller maybe. It was about grannies. Let's say it was like size of grannies type place. So then this guy comes up to me. He gives me a letter, and he goes, "Don't read it." Like right before I play. So we set up our stuff, and I go to the side of the stage, and he gives me a letter, and he goes, "Don't read it." And I was like, cool. So I either gave it to Matt or I put it in the our like guitar box, you know, where we put our guitar boat. I put it in there. We played a show. Later on, we read the letter, and it was the kid that snuck into the Foo Fighters show. But he was like, "So remember when I was in the Foo Fighters backstage party room? That was me." But he was like, "You guys are so cool. That was awesome. You know, you guys didn't even give a shit who I was. You know, didn't kick me out or whatever." But then he was like, "You know, I had cancer, or like someone died in his family or whatever." He had one of those stories, you know. And then he was like, "You know, I came over here to meet a girl or something," but he traveled over to Europe, and he was like, "I saw that you guys were playing, and I fucking came." And I was like, "Oh man, that's so crazy, you know."
I thought he was going to say, "Your security's much better now."
You should have said, "Your security sucks." I remember he gave me a letter. He goes, "Don't read it." And I was like, "What?"
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like in minutes for the Foo Fighters, you know, Grant from Husker Du was there, you know.
Yeah, so that's how you met him.
What's his face? Chris Novoselic was there for a couple of shows.
Yeah, so you talked to him for a little while, and he was pretty cool. I always fuck up whenever I'm around him. I think it's nerves.
No, and then he was super cool. He was you know, he plays accordion.
Yeah.
Obviously, and then he played.
You could have had him play with mariachi.
Yeah, so he had he saw me just playing with my guitar, and he goes, "Hey, you guys have an accordion, right?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Can I use it?" And I was like, "Of course." And then he played our accordion for one of the songs. Foo Fighters had a new song with an accordion on at that time. So,
and he used
our accordion.
Your accordion.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he just handed it back to me.
Wow.
Like, "Thank you." But yeah, and then he hung out with us in the room, you know. And then we played a random show in Portland, and then he came to that too. Wow. He came after we were done though. But yeah, someone was connected. Someone was friends with him. But yeah, so yeah, mariachi brings, you know, rare opportunities like that. You know, we opened up for the Killers. You know, so that was our first. That was like, you know, that was an arena. You know, so.
You find arenas, you like to play those better than...
You know what's so funny? No, because it's not, when we play arenas, it's not our shows. So okay. It's not like crazy packed, or it's not like, you know, so immediate, you know.
And you can't do the thing where Matt jumps into the...
He does.
Oh, he does? Yeah. Okay.
You know, I think when, yeah, I mean, it's cool, and sometimes, you know, it's kind of distant, but, I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, but then sometimes I kick myself sometimes because I walk into an arena. You know, we'll play all the arenas tours, and then we played some like Cox or whatever, and I'll be like, oh yeah, this is like one of the smaller arenas, and I'm like, what am I saying? I'm playing a fucking arena. I'm trying to fucking grade the arenas. I was like, wake up.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, did you ever play with Motorhead?
You know, we played the Riot Fest 2016 is right before, because Lemmy was already sick. They were canceling shows, whatever.
Yeah.
And they played that Riot Fest, and they ended up playing. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking watch this. You know, that was the last show.
Wow.
It might have even been the last show you played, because that was like.
That was in Germany, the last show.
So that was like September of 2016. yeah, so I watched them, and then we got in the car and went to see Drive Like Jehu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow. Jeez. And now
both
Lemmy and Rick
Rick's
aren't
gone,
around
yeah.
anymore.
But yeah, so not together, but same festival.
Yeah.
I have a lot of that, same festivals all the time, you know. Played Australia, and
You're playing a festival. with Slayer.
and we were playing kind of later on we're like on a different stage, but we were playing way later, you know, nighttime. And then Slayer was playing on a big stage kind of earlier, you know, afternoon, like late afternoon. But then they said something was wrong with Tom Araya. He had like a neck thing or an ear thing. So they were like, hey, can the Bronx play? And we're like, all right. So we get over there. Our stuff's already over there. But then you look out into the crowd and it's not a good vibe, you know.
Yeah, they want Slayer.
They would have probably fucking lit us on fire or something. So it ended up they're like, oh yeah, we won't fucking do that to the Bronx, you know.
Oh.
So we ended up not playing. That was our Slayer story.
Okay. Any other bands you want to?
I don't know. I can't remember. You got.
I can't. Dave Grohl stories.
Dave Grohl's,
Chris Novoselic. Those are big ones. Slayer, Motorhead. I just came up with.
Motorhead. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean,
Michael Monroe. Have you seen him lately, or have you played with him?
I saw him.
I love his solo stuff. I think his solo stuff is better than Hanoi Rocks.
You can't say that to me.
Well, I can't say it to you, but I can say it to me.
But you know, I just saw him when I went back to Japan in February. He played 2 shows. One was 2 Steps from the Move, and then the second night was Dead Joe Rock and Roll, which was the show tour that M80 opened up. That was cool.
Did you get to meet him and say hi and stuff, and he knows?
Yeah, well, Rich Jones plays in the band. So,
oh yeah, that's right. You know him.
So we had a good, and then. You know, I've gotten to know Sammy pretty good. So, and then
Did you know him? Did you hang out with him when he lived in San Diego?
I wasn't here. That was my Japan
Oh, that's
years.
right.
Yeah. I missed the Sammy San Diego
Yeah,
years.
that was all Steve Rodriguez who got to hang out with him.
I've got to be friends with him after that, you know.
Tim Armstrong directed your video for Breaking News.
Yep.
What was that like?
That was awesome. It was.
What's he like?
Tim's awesome. Tim's super cool. He's like, you know, Dave Grohl. He's just friendly to everyone. You know, helps everyone out. But he was our drummer Joey was friends with him, and he's doing like a new project with him. And then we did the monthly 7 inches, and we decided we're going to collaborate with. Not a musician, mostly, to do all the artwork. And then Tim did the artwork, but this was our 3rd single. So we one photographer took the pictures, made a video, another skateboard guy directed a video, and then this was the last single. And he did the artwork and directed the video. And did it at a studio, and he filmed it. He sent us the, you know, rough copy in, and it was a normal video, and we're like, no, we want it like the Rancid, the high res. And he's like, really? So we sent it back. He sent it back in and fucking did it up. But it happened. That's the song I wrote.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
And then every 7 inch, so 11 songs, was just one song, one side. Well, it was both sides, but one song. But that one had the studio recorded version, and the side B was recorded live at Tim's studio. And then they took us out on tour.
Wow, cool. Oh, Rancid did?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, he's super
That must have
cool.
been a big one.
Yeah, that was 2021, so it was the first tour back from COVID. So it's first like shows coming back from COVID for everyone. But it was all outside amphitheaters, so
he's a big wrestling fan too, I think. Or is it the other guy?
It's Lars.
Lars.
He does. I think Ruby Soho's used in wrestling. Some chick uses it. He's really into it.
What was the Lucha Underground thing like?
Oh, it's cool. We did it 2 or 3 times. We just fucking sit on the stage and they fight and we play for 2 minutes and then that's it and we wait there for 2 hours.
Oh, really? Oh, for some reason I thought you played like an hour set and then they added it in to the thing.
We play like, you know, we start playing a song. They're like, they raise something and we got it.
Oh wow.
We did.
So it was very live.
Yeah, it was. It was a long day. It's like noon to midnight type shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's hot.
You get paid well for it, I hope.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't remember. That was like 5 years ago already. But yeah, those TV stuff pays pretty good, you know. Good like catering type stuff, you know.
How much did COVID fuck up the Bronx?
Not much. We actually
You got lucky.
Yeah, we actually, you know, it's funny because at 2019 December our album was done. Then we played a couple shows in January and we're supposed to do this huge, you know, support the album tour. The album was supposed to come out like early summer or something like that. Well, sometime early 2020. But COVID happened and then the record label was like, well, you know, you guys just could release it anytime you want, you know.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to release it. We didn't want to do like a 2020 release and say, hey, we got a record.
And then tour.
Goes away.
Years
we can't
later,
tour, yeah. So we hung on to it till 2021. But we had the idea of, so every month we release a 7-inch with a different artist.
Yeah.
And,
that's smart.
And we fucking did it. You know, we did it from, I think, February, March, and we did it. It wasn't late. We didn't have anything late. And we did it every friggin' month. And then in the middle of it, in August, we released the album. Yeah, we didn't want to do the streaming where we just fucking stood in an empty room or like an empty club. You know, that's why we did the streaming where we kind of made it into like a movie with both bands. Yeah, and then we just kind of survived off of merch, couple drops. We did the best, like the B-sides and the covers.
That's
mariachi.
Right. Yeah.
We just kind of did it little by little. So yeah. So you know what? It was so in early 2020 we're gonna release it in early 2020, but the record label was like, hey, let's push it back to like the summertime, which was a blessing in disguise. Because like, just think if we went along with the February release, we would have been screwed. But we, it was kind of like they're like, oh, you know what? Let's do it later in the, you know, mid-year. And then we're like, okay. And then that was our blessing in disguise where COVID happened. They're like, well, you could release it anytime you want. You know, they're cool about that. And then we all talk to each other every month or every day. We have our text thread, and we talk, you know, every day, joking around or like, you know, almost every day, you know. We didn't see each other for 6 months.